We are honored to be back with you with another episode of Semaj MindSpa. Just to remind you, why the Mind Spa? Well, the mind is the ultimate frontier, huh? The source of consciousness. That's where life occurs, that's where things happen. Spa, first of all, removes toxins, but spas also energize and invigorate and provide you with fresh insights into the things that are happening. And this is a good way to start your day in a spa, a mind spa. So my suggestion is that you could, when something good is happening, you share it. So that I'm inviting you to share with some of your friends and associates, and that we're going to be talking about some interesting things today. The issue at hand we're talking about is this thing called, I call it pandemic parenting, hmm? Or parenting during the pandemic. Not many people, nobody signed up for this. And this last 18 months, almost 2 years, has been very stressful. And it has been testing parents in ways that they never understood, never anticipated. So that we want to talk about parenting. So that somebody who's a parent who is struggling with this, somebody who would like some insight, somebody who is really trying their best with their children. But you have to be holding down a job. You're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to earn a living, but you also have to take care of so many other things related to your child's survival. Now, I want to just walk you through a couple of issues. The first is, where are we now? As a parent, you realize the most critical thing is, first of all, you have to stay alive so you can keep your children alive. You also have to keep your children alive. So my first question is now, what are you telling your children about the pandemic? It's bad enough that we have so many people who have adopted all kinds of cognitive biases, not understanding the pandemic. But are you passing these things on to your children? That's a rhetorical question, because I know you are. Because anything that you believe and you consciously believe in, and you want to pass it on to your children. Huh? But the reality is, the coronavirus pandemic has triggered a mental health pandemic. Are you aware of that? The first phase is the behavioral disorder, distorted thinking that is generating cognitive biases against tested and proven vaccines. So you as a parent, chances are, if you are not taking the vaccine, you haven't taken the vaccine, chances are you are trying to explain to your children why you have, and you are also telling them not to. I think you should reconsider that, because it's bad enough for you to be doing that. All the evidence indicate that phase one of the pandemic is this behavioral disorder that so many people, some countries are doing very bad, just in terms of the number of persons who have vaccinated, and the consequences are going to be very dim. Let me declare my hand right up front. I am fully vaccinated, and I've had my booster shot, and all members of my immediate family are vaccinated and alive and well. What can I say? So as a parent, you need to study the science. You need to understand what is happening so that you can explain to your children. It's unfortunate that some parents who have put themselves in a situation whereby they are not following the science, they're going to have some serious things to explain to their children later on. Hopefully, you may come to your senses early enough to move away to the next level. Huh? Now, what is happening for parents and children in terms of the mental health of children are being impacted in so many ways? Just by being home, you realize that in some instances, children have not been in school for almost 2 years, or by virtue of the problems that they have with connectivity, very little education is taking place. And many parents were not equipped, were not prepared to take on this task. So, what is happening is that a lot of children are falling behind in terms of the whole issue of education and the socialization factors that are involved. What are some of the things you need to be looking for as a parent? First of all, mental health problems in early childhood and adolescence result in poor academic performance. You need to be well aware of this. That is where it is going. What are some signs to look for that there's some mental problems with your children? One, decreased energy. Children lethargic, don't want to do anything, don't want to go anywhere. Frequent confrontation with family and friends, always getting into arguments, much more so than before. Thoughts of harming themselves and harming others, talking about doing harm to each other. More that kind of discussion taking place, not a good sign. How about emotional imbalance from one extreme to the other? Are you seeing this kind of volatility in your children? How about isolation from friends and family? Don't want to see anybody, don't want to go anywhere, don't want to be around anybody. Huh? How about loss of interest in things that they used to be really excited about? These are some of the signs that all is not well with your children. And the evidence indicate that children who have problems at this stage, it turns up later on. Behavioral and emotional problems at age 3 are associated with performance below grade level at age 12. Mental health problems with children at age 12 are associated with lack of being able to complete final grades and when they get to higher education. So that you need to see these signs, you need to seek help. So, what are the things that you could be doing at this stage? What should you be doing? You want to be honest with your children. You want to talk to them some more. Address your children's fears. Talk to them about what is happening. Not to frighten them, but you really want to help to calm them down. Keep in touch with your loved ones. Make sure that if you're hearing children talking about any problems of not being comfortable with what is happening, you want to help them to understand what's happening around them. Recognize your children's feelings. Model how you want them to manage their feelings. Talk to them. Listen, tell them, listen, I'm worried about grandma, I want to make sure I call her later on. Why don't you call grandpa? Why don't you call your friend to see how they're doing? Each time you leave the house, tell your children you're leaving, where you're going, and when you're going to be back. Because a lot of children now are seeing and hearing all kinds of things about people dying and disappearing and not coming back. You want to keep the child's day as structured and healthy as possible. One of the things, please hug your children more often. Go out of your way to tell them, I love you more often. Because without that, all kinds of problems can creep in. And it doesn't matter, we're not talking about just the young children. School age children, teenagers, tell them how much you love them. At the end of the day, create a bedtime ritual, helping them to calm down from the day and the stresses of the day. Giving them time, helping them with their homework, much more than you did before. Because it's very important. You need to create a positive discipline situation where home becomes a fortress, a place where the child feels comfortable. Pandemic parenting is the last line about keeping our children alive, keeping them healthy, because the consequences will be long term. If they don't get through this pandemic emotionally whole and mentally whole, it is your job as parent to make sure that this happens. This is what it's all about.